Hello and welcome to Zero Cool Gaming, and today we're going to do a kind of discussion on MMORPGs. And I'm going to use a game that is not an MMORPG to highlight why I don't play MMORPGs. Now, it's not because I don't like MMOs. I absolutely do. I like the idea. Let's put it that way. And I like RPG games. And even though I did not like Mage Knight Apocalypse as a game because of a lot of the mechanics within it, the game itself is beautiful. The gameplay is redundant because of the mechanics within it. And it's designed to be that way. And what do I mean by that? To my perspective, and I don't know if my perspective is right, don't get me wrong, but to my perspective, what I'm looking at when I'm playing this game is a prototype for a monetization system that will be implemented within MMORPGs. And this game truly highlights the worst of those systems. And I'll go ahead and explain to you what I mean by that. One of the things that I've never liked about single-player games, especially some of the more recent ones, this is way back in 2006, is the implementation of the random loot system. Okay, for a single-player game, that type of loot or acquisition of new accessories, weapons, things like that, as far as I'm concerned, should never be used. I've always liked the systems where when you get something, it actually benefits your character. So as you progress through the game, you are not only progressing in level, but you're acquiring new, whether they be accessories, armor, whatever, that improve your character as well. With the random loot system, you could literally be just starting the game, have no idea what's going on, end up acquiring some of the best armor in the game, and you just simply sell it because you don't know any better. Or even if you do, you're now saving that till the end of the game. Or better yet, you go through the entire game, and then after the game is basically over, you get the best armor you can. There are problems with the random loot system. Pretty major ones. And like I said, as far as I'm concerned, on single player games, this type of system should never be implemented. But in Mage Knight Apocalypse, it exists. And then you also have the fact that you truly cannot die in this game. And a lot of MMORPGs have a similar, if not the exact same system. And what do I mean by that? Can your character die? Sure, you can get to 0 hit points, and then you'll just simply respawn at the nearest crystal. And then when you go back, let's say you've taken 5,000 hit points off of whatever thing killed you. Those 5,000 hit points will still be gone. And then you could take another 5,000 off and die, and come back and take another 5,000 off, and maybe you'll kill it that time. And this is a similar system in a lot of MMORPGs. The revive system, or whatever they call it, I have no idea. Again, this is not the type of system that should ever be implemented in a single player game. It makes the entire game useless or worthless to play in that respect. You get nothing out of it because you can just die and go do it again, die, go do it again, die, go. I've never been a fan of this sort of life system because as far as I'm concerned, you literally cannot die. Um, then you have the actual progression system in this game. There is no levels in that respect. Different parts are like your armor for the character that I'm playing. My armor is locked out by my strength level, and my strength determines how strong of armor I'm allowed to put on. Period. With different characters, you have different attributes that will lock out, their armors. Same thing with weapons. With different characters, my character happens to be strength. Um, there's certain weapons that I cannot carry until I get my strength up high enough, and that's basically how you level in this game. Is you increase your stats. You don't actually acquire levels. Um, with some of the accessories like the rings and um, hats, belts, things like that, and some of those that I found, um, I'm locked out because of other stats that aren't high enough for me to actually use those items. I'm not a fan of that type of system either. And that again goes back to the random loot system where you're dropped loot that potentially you'll never be able to use because you'll never level that stat high enough in the game to ever wear it. So yeah, like I was saying, to me this game it feels like a prototype, something that was used to determine how to monetize um, an online game that they were developing. There is forging in this game. There's crafting. There's recipes. All this sorts of stuff. Um, the vast majority of it I don't interact with when I played through this game because you don't need to. And even the little bit that I do isn't necessary. But if this game was a online RPG, you would absolutely be required to engage with those other systems. And not just engage with them, but acquire a lot of materials for them. And that's kind of the point, and it's obvious that that's what they're there for. They're there to monetize in that respect, rather than you going out and spending 300 hours collecting all the stuff you need to make whatever potions or whatever you're wanting to make or create whatever you're wanting to create. Um, I have no doubt that they had packages you could buy in the store that would have all of those ingredients, or they would have all of the parts you need to forge your armor, or you understand what I'm saying? Or you could upgrade your armor from common to legendary or whatever it is. I'm sure that they sold the stuff that you would need to engage with these systems, rather than spending the hundreds, possibly thousands of hours in game trying to collect it for free because it's a free to play game. No, it's pay to win. They're all pay to win. But anyway, um, this game irritated me so badly. And I'm not even done with it yet. I'm at the end of it. I know I'm at the end of it. I'm at the last level. I've cleared a couple of sections of it. I'm recording the whole thing, by the way. I'll put a long play of this game up here shortly. probably in a month or so, maybe 2. I'd have to look in my book to figure out exactly where it's going in, but I prioritized it and I'm putting it in now. Yeah, this I can't say that I hated the game because I didn't hate it. There was just a lot of aspects of it that I did not enjoy and made the gameplay experience even worse because of their inclusion. The way that this game's designed currently, I don't think there's a way that you could actually get through this entire game without dying. Truly. I can see where there were areas that they programmed properly to where you could work your way through them without dying. But for the most part, this game is far from properly balanced to any type of single player experience to where you could go through the game from beginning to end without dying. And it wouldn't matter who you started with. Truly. There are particular sections where your party is just simply too weak to contend with what they're throwing at you. So yeah, Mage Knight Apocalypse. I still give it like a 4, truly. It's not the best game I've ever played. It's not even truly a very enjoyable game. The mechanics are all wrong for this type of gameplay. The balance, there is no balance. Yeah. Yeah, it's obvious what it was. It was a prototype. It was a, let's develop this and try to work the bugs out of it to monetize it. And this game has some bugs. I mean, so far, I've had it shut down on me 4 times, and I expect it to do it at least 2 more times before I complete the game. I had a hard freeze once, which means the whole game, my operating system, everything locked up. And then I had just the game freeze once, and I was still able to, Control Alt Delete out of it and shut the game down. So yeah, it doesn't run all that well. I realize I'm not running on the best hardware in the world, and I don't think I had this many problems the first time I played through it. But my system was a little better than the one I have now. But the one I have now isn't like it's horrible by any stretch of the imagination. It's still if it was built back then, it would have been considered a pretty high-end system. Probably not the top of the tippy top, but pretty close. Yeah, it's got issues. It's definitely got some bugs in it. Just during regular gameplay, it's constantly lagging. I know it's not lag. It's the game will kind of stop for a second and then continue on, and it's not like you're going through a loading zone when it does that. It just and it truly, it doesn't matter how many elements are on the screen either. That's not what causes it. It's something else. So yeah, it's not the best programming either. They definitely needed to optimize this more. So yeah, that's my review of Mage Knight Apocalypse. I think it's a prototype for something that they monetized online. Truly. It's what it feels like, that's what it looks like, that's what it plays like. Anyway, that's my rant for the day, and I hope you enjoy the rest of yours.